VC Jeff here. Hope everybody's doing great. We have this, well, if you have this holiday weekend, at least where you are, we are on a 3-day weekend, and it's going to be a somewhat tiring one for me. I had a gig last night, got home at 2:30, gig with the band, got home at 2:30, was up at 7 and everything, church, and here we are doing this. I got to go over a friend's house for a cookout, and then I have another gig tomorrow during the day outside. So yeah, it'll be a working, but not really working, because it is, at least something enjoyable. But yesterday before the gig, during the day Saturday, the wife and I got out. We went out, we did a little geocaching, and we also went over to a part of town where there's a couple, I guess, sort of like thrift stores, antique stores on this side of town. So I said, let's go over there. That's where we're going to head over to go geocaching. So I was flipping through, and the first thing I caught my eye that I went ahead and grabbed was the Yes 90125. Now, I know some people don't like this, is when they went on kind of poppy and everything, but my wife loves this album. I love this album, and it was there, and it was a good price. It was a great price. And it was in great condition. It's got a little wear. It was funny, all of them had tags on them, and they all had NM on them, which in record speak always tends to mean near mint. And I thought, okay, well, that's cool. Maybe he's grading them. So I didn't go through looking at them at that point. But then I realized as I'm looking, I'm like, everything says NM, and some of these covers are beat up. There's no way. So then I assumed that was obviously the name of the vendor, and so when they get the price tag, they know who to ring it up under. So I started checking them all, and they weren't bad. They were all in very good plus, pretty much condition, and if I clean them up, I could probably get them up to a near mint. But anyway, yeah, love this album. It was a great price, so I grabbed this. Now I finally own an album by a band that everybody in the VC, it seems, who listen to any kind of rock type music, everybody loves this band. And honestly, I've never owned anything by this band. I've never owned an album. They didn't do anything for me back in the 80s. I've seen them on, MTV concerts and stuff. I never appreciated their stuff. I'm in a band. We play songs by them. They're okay. I know their hits. Don't know much of anything about their catalog. It's just a band. There's so many bands, but back then they weren't really hard rock enough for me. They didn't catch my attention. And I hear so many people in the VC talk about them now. I mean, some people have channels where they absolutely love them. I won't mention any names, but and actually there was a contest recently where they said, show us your favorite album by this band, and I'm like, I don't have anything by that band. And so anyway, I have been on the lookout, because I thought, well, I actually went to the record store for that contest. I went to the record store to find something used by them just to show, and they had nothing. So I'm like, they must be pretty popular everywhere, because it's really, I don't find their stuff used at all. And I told myself, next time I see something by them, if the price was right, I was going to grab it. And the price was right, and I actually got what I guess most people consider the pivotal album by them. I own a Cheap Trick album. Yes, finally. Dream Police. It was in good condition. It was under $10. It was in great condition for the time, for the price and everything. So I had to buy it. I said, okay. I told myself, if I ever see a Cheap Trick album in the wild for a good price, buy it. So I am now the proud owner of my first official full Cheap Trick album of any kind. Never had their CDs or anything. So yes, there I am. Now I have something. So they had some handful of other things. They had some stuff on the wall. That's where the pricey stuff is. The price of the stuff on the wall, was $20, $30, $40. I forget. They had an album up there that I think they wanted $50 for. Yeah, whatever. It was more modern stuff. They had some Rolling Stone stuff for like $20, $25, but there was only one album that was actually in the bottom bins that caught my attention that was of that type of price, and I thought, I don't know, but I picked it up. I've never had anything by Annihilator. I remember listening to this album when it first came out, and I liked their sound. I knew it was kind of a more more of a clean thrash sound, kind of the stuff that was coming out at this time that I like. The not so harsh type, Anthrax type stuff. They reminded me of that. Maybe I'm totally wrong. I have not really ever listened to any of their stuff in all these years. But this is the first Annihilator album. and they wanted a little more than I wanted to pay for it. So I quickly pulled it up on Discogs. I wanted to get a price idea, and I was finding them on. Now I did notice this was reissued like what 2018 or something. So you can get new copies of this for, mid $25 range, $25 range. This was, in that range, but I noticed that this particular album, which is their original 1989 release, this is actually also a Gold Stamp promo, if that makes a big difference for some people. But on Discogs, the lowest price for one selling right now is $75. I don't know if they're getting that for it, but I thought, okay, if the Discogs price for this particular print was $75 to $125, I'll go ahead and pay the amount that they were asking for it. So I did go ahead and get this. My first Annihilator album. There's just so many bands out there. This is one of those bands I just never really went back and spent much time with. So anyway, glad to have that. And if I totally don't like it, I guess I hopefully can get my money back out of it if I need to. But anyway, I'm going to keep it now. And then, well, yeah, this was the last thing I got there. So I got Heart. Now, at first glance, I just picked this up and it had, a lot. I didn't know what it was. I don't have anything by heart, and I know all their hits, and I said, well, this has got all their hits on it, but I didn't really know what it was. I've seen this cover before, but and the price was right, and it was a double record set, so I thought, I'm gonna grab it. And then it turns out, because it doesn't say on the cover, you have to read it on the spine, but it's a greatest hits album, so that makes sense. Perfect for me, because now I have the greatest hits, so that's really the kind of stuff I know the most by them. And then it's got a live album as a second album, so that sounds great. I'm not, I would love to get more of their stuff, but for now I got the greatest hits. The price was right, for a double record set, and I checked them all and they were in great condition, so I picked this up. Now, down the street from this place is a place called Yard Sale, which is kind of like a thrift store, but it's a lot more. It kind of reminds me of an antique store in the sense that they sell furniture, they have all kinds of stuff. It's like everything you'd find at a yard sale in a building, but it's just a big place, and they always have records in there, and I've bought stuff there before. Made a pretty decent score there, I don't know, over a year ago. But I've been there once or twice since then and hadn't really found much. This time I went in there and I noticed they had a bunch of 80s pop type stuff. Not a bunch, less than a dozen, maybe half a dozen or more, that were still in shrink wrap, not sealed, but they had shrink wrap on them. So I'm like, okay, somebody at least took care of that. But I wasn't sure about their prices, because some things they had stickers on and the prices were outrageous. I'm like, they had a Madonna 12-inch of Vogue for like $30. No, I don't think so. And stuff like that. They did have some. I'm not a Bruce Springsteen fan at all, but they had some Bruce Springsteen like bootlegs. 4 record sets. It had like a photocopy cover that somebody had made. But they had at least 2 of these multi-disc bootleg albums. And they wanted like $100 each, and I'm like, well, I'm not that much of a fan, but they had a bunch of stuff. Most of the prices that they had that were actual price were outrageous. I wasn't sure, they didn't have it labeled what the other things were, but I got to the counter, like anything that doesn't have a price is $2, and I'm thinking, oh, I should have picked up some of these other things, but we were headed out to eat. I did pick up the Pat Benatar live album. It was still in the shrink. It had the shrink on it, and the album itself was in pristine condition. Whoever had these took really good care of it, and I thought, yeah, for $2. They had some other stuff, that I could have bought, but I kind of talked myself out of it, because it's kind of like, yeah, maybe I'll enjoy it. I don't know. They had like Quarter Flash. Okay, Hard My Heart. I know the song. Do I want the whole album? Do I need it taking up space? Psychedelic Furs. I know nothing by them. I'm just looking at these as, wow, these albums are in the shrink. They're in pristine condition, and I didn't know what that price was on them. But now that I know they're $2, I'm like, maybe I should have rescued them anyway. Maybe I will like them. It's not stuff I listen to. This one had a price on it. It was $5, but I couldn't pass it up because it also was in pristine condition. And this is an album that I got for Christmas as a kid, and it's the only album I've had by this band. And I'm always on the lookout for more of their stuff. And, because this is like quirky, fun pop stuff from back in the 80s. And it was, part of my childhood, and I dig it. And it's got Terry Bozzio, and it's it is what it is, and it's great stuff. Dale Bozzio, it's a husband and wife team at the time, at least. Dale, the drummer, has went on to do all kinds of phenomenal drum stuff, and so just for him, you know, I would grab it. But anyway, looking for more of their stuff. So it was a great day, and you know, I didn't spend that much. You know, great day for picking up a few things that were all in really good condition. So yeah, that was a nice Saturday. And then, like I said, we went geocaching, spent some time hiking, picking up some geocaches, and had a gig. And now I'm really tired because I've been up since early. But anyway, thanks for watching. I'll be back. Rock on and rock hard.